We're here with Jay Skibbins. Welcome, welcome.
Hello. Glad to be with you, man.
Yeah. Likewise. How much, let's just start with that. Let's just start with the results. How much money have you made since we started working together?
$4,500. So
Beautiful.
yeah. And yeah,
Awesome.
so in my mind, that's our doubled the investment I put into this and not done yet, right?
Love it. And tell us a bit about yourself. How did you decide to become a coach? Tell us a bit about your backstory.
Yeah, so I was teaching for a couple of years, and then through a series of events, left teaching, um, and was searching for something to fulfill me, because teaching was good, but it wasn't fulfilling me in the way that I needed to.
What were you teaching?
Sixth grade, English and social studies.
Beautiful.
So 11,
It's interesting.
11 and 12-year olds, and it was fun. I really enjoyed it. And I liked working with the kids there. I, but I wasn't able to do everything that I wanted to do in my way. So that led me to social work and working more with parents, and that was closer. But then, you know, honestly, COVID hit. Here in the States, there was a bunch of civil unrest, and what I realized is there was just a need for a positive space. People just needed
Yeah.
to be asked questions that weren't right and wrong, this side, that side. And I really noticed that once I started asking open-ended questions, people were gravitating towards that.
Yeah.
So it's always been a natural skill, and I just kind of followed that into what I could do with that.
And you started like as a parenting coach, or did you start with some other type of coaching?
So I honestly thought I was gonna go into relationship coaching. I thought,
Mhm.
when I really got into it, because I feel like I have a unique take on relationships, but then through trial and error, I realized I also don't have a ton of experience
Mhm.
in relationships, but I have a ton of experience as a single parent, because I've been doing that for 7 years.
And you have a very unique story, right? As a single parent, would you feel comfortable sharing that?
Yeah, I can. For me, I basically found out, I have two sons, and like a year and a half into the younger one's life, and closer to 3 years into the older one's life, I found out that they aren't biologically mine. Um, so what to me that means is I was co-parenting with somebody who is like a pathological liar. Um,
Wow.
and but honestly, we've gotten to a point where we are co-parenting really well, and to me, I felt like if I could find ways to make this work, with all that we have been through, that there's a lot of people out there that need that guidance, that need that experience, that need that perspective, because there's a lot of people that don't think they'll get to a point where I'm at. And
Yeah.
because their story is so hard and their story is so tough, and it's like I get it. I hear them, I see them, and I understand.
That is so interesting. And most people would have just said, they would have just picked up and left. But here you are, not just being a great dad, but you're actually teaching other, or rather sharing insights with other people on how they can have better relationships with, not initially with their kids, but right now you kind of shifted, you kind of found your groove, and you're more into, let me show you how to have a great relationship with your co-parent and with your kids,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and as with most all coaching, then it ends up being with themselves too, because
Yes.
that's the key right there, is the more you love yourself and the more you give yourself patience and grace, the more you can do that with your kids and with your co-parent, because yeah, it's a tough road, but it's possible to get there.
And you definitely came from a very loving place. I mean,
You're right.
right?
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the reasons. And guys, if you are looking for a bit more insights in terms of, how to develop your co-parenting relationship, or even with your partner, with your current partner, and with your kids, absolutely check out Jay. I'll probably post a link to your Instagram. You really, really enjoy his content and the engagement. I mean, I was amazed by the engagement that you were getting for your posts, and people definitely resonated with that love that you came with,
Mm.
right? Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
So let me ask you this. Who was Jay before we started working together, and who is Jay right now?
Um, I I definitely wanted to be liked very much. I guess on Instagram. I mean, I want to be liked in real life. It's in all parts of my life, but that was where a lot of my content was geared towards. Like, how can I get likes? How can I, I want people to tell me good job. Um,
Yeah.
I wanted, right? And what like, since working together and kind of digging into the why that is, and that was eye-opening.
Yeah.
um and also beyond that, because it's nice to know why, but also once I was able to start letting go of that was when I started making the sales. Like, that was the first key, right? And it was good because we've recently talked about there's levels to all of this. That was just the first level to get past.
Yeah.
But it also paid results very quickly. So now I'm working on the next level. But right now I post things that I know my audience needs to hear instead of posting what I think that they're gonna like. And that's a big shift for me, business wise, but mindset wise, and like the reception is, very much increased.
And it takes a bit of courage, right? I mean, we're living in this like era, and posting something that, just like you mentioned, like your audience very well, and posting something that they need to hear, not necessarily something that they like to hear,
Hmm.
that takes a bit of guts, right?
Yeah, well, and yeah, you have to get comfortable with the right people hearing it and seeing it, rather than like everybody liking
Yeah.
and seeing it. Because if everybody likes it, then like you're probably not talking to anybody. Like, that was a big thing for me to listen or to watch, because I was getting, because then you get people to pay attention to your stuff that aren't your clients.
Yeah.
And then you're getting like good jobs. Like, it's great if I get a good job from a person who doesn't have a kid, but like that's not going to help my business. That's not going to help me get to where I want to go. I need single parents to like my things and to resonate with my things. I don't need everybody to.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like when I left Romania to study in Greece and Crete for college, right? And whenever my parents would call me up and ask me like, "How are things?" "Oh, things are great. I'm getting along with everybody." I wasn't getting along with anybody.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Right? So it's like, or you think like you're this neutral thing in space, and you think like you're pleasing everybody, but in fact you're literally pleasing nobody, right?
right,
Especially not
yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
So what would you say is the most valuable thing that you got from our coaching?
I think honestly, just unlocking that idea of why I needed to be liked, because it
Mm,
was something that, like, I wasn't getting on my own.
yeah,
I've known that for a while, and that was, it's always been a source of frustration. It shows up in different places. It shows up in relationships.
of
It
course.
shows up in all sorts of places. But I wasn't unpacking it on my own, and understanding that has helped, like with my Instagram business, but it's also just helped me be more present, with my kids. That, like, since I'm not needing to be liked so much, I don't need to spend so much time on Instagram. So then I'm actually spending a little bit more time with my kids. So it's just paid a lot of dividends just from like a realization.
Yeah, 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 for sure. And what was your relationship with sales?
Oh, I was chasing it, and I even, our conversation recently is taking me to a new level, was just letting go of the need to make a sale. I was trying to say the perfect thing. I was trying to, like, just be so perfect, have the right opening line, like, and
Yeah,
there are ways to help with that, but if you're trying to be perfect, then you're not worried about helping, and you're not going to make any sales. And that I was not making sales.
yeah, exactly. Because you're only thinking about yourself, right? How am I being perceived? But
Yeah,
that makes it close to impossible to be present with the person and kind of allow for the right thing to come through, right?
right, right.
Um, and who are you now?
Well, I mean, letting go of the need to be liked was big, and what I'm, really working on and getting to now is that idea of being present. That like, I don't have to. That I know that if I do what I need to do, like the sales will come, and they have come,
Yes.
and it's more about worrying about what I need to do instead of like who I am and who I'm coming across as, because I can't control how other people see me, but I can control what I do, and I know what to do. So as long as like that, I need like the more tunnel vision I have on just focusing on what I need to do, the better off I am.
Beautiful, beautiful. So what's next for you right now in terms of your career as a coach?
It's still building my one-on-one coaching. I have a workshop coming up soon. And then I'm hoping to turn that into group coaching, because like if I can be regularly coaching one-on-one clients and then running semi-regular workshops and then launching group coaching, that to me is like my ticket out of, I mean, eventually my ticket out of 9 to 5. Like that is the goal in 2022, to be able to do my coaching business full time. So that's and it's all, I've always had a confidence that it would happen, but like I just, before I was confident that like if I stuck at it long enough it would happen. And I feel like my vision now is much more clear, so like there's proof behind that confidence now, that like, okay, I've done it, I can keep doing this. Like there's like a repeatable formula.
Yeah. Yeah. And isn't that exciting, right? Doing workshops and group coaching. I mean, you're in the group coaching program, right? Maybe that
Right.
kind of opened the door to saying, hey, because I know like for me as well, when I started out, I was kind of reluctant to do group coaching because I thought, the one-on-one experiences are so much more powerful.
Mm.
Um, but maybe you being in the group coaching, maybe you saw the potential of that.
Right. And I think that I see the value in different people's experiences. I see the accountability it brings when like, if I'm by myself and I'm working on something and I don't get it done, I shame on me, but like I kind of want to keep up with the group. I kind of want to um I want to show that, they're working towards something and I'm working towards something, and then we kind of
Yeah.
celebrate each other.
Yeah, yeah. And it's awesome how, people share their experiences. I mean, you supported somebody in the call yesterday with your experience, right? And we
Hmm.
always have people sharing and supporting each other, which is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're not all moving at the same like pace, and it's not all linear for us. So there's something I went through 2 weeks ago that somebody else went through, and there's something that they've gone through that I'm probably about to go through, and hearing about their experiences makes it just a little bit more realistic that I'll get through it too. Because like, when we feel like when we're the first ones to do it, that's when it feels hard. But if we hear like, okay, yeah, I remember that spot in coaching, I remember that spot in my journey, it's like, okay, I'm right where I need to be.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very reassuring. Um, what are some insights that you'd like to share with coaches who are listening, watching? Um, what would you feel would be something very valuable that helped you and that could help, somebody tuning in right now?
Well, when we started talking and I agreed to come on, I knew at that time that I needed the push, right? Like I was hearing a lot of like, hey, you're doing great, you're doing this, you're doing that, and but it wasn't translating into anything. So I knew I was ready to be pushed, and you provided that push. And for everybody listening, it's not a smooth ride, but like that's I knew I needed it. So I think that if I wasn't ready, I wouldn't have gotten the results yet. So
Yeah.
that to me was a big piece of this. Was like, I was like, all right, I know I need something, and Bogdan, he just felt like the right decision, and it's paid off. Like that's the big thing for me, is that like, so for me that was following my intuition, but then it was also following like Bogdan's style and your lead. Like that was key for me, because it wasn't always easy, but like as a coach we all know that like the good results don't it's not easy work. So
Yeah.
like to me, like, it's people who are ready for that push, like you're the right guy.
And remember when, like, I think it was in one of our first group coaching sessions when you joined, I mentioned the idea that at a certain point, you're going to reach a point where you're going to say, oh my God, this guy again in the messages.
Yeah, yeah, but it works, right? Like, and that's the thing, is that and that's what I like about the different styles, is that, like, if I coached myself, I would only get so far. And that's where I was, right? I'd only gotten to myself so far. So I needed a change of pace. I needed your insight. I needed your perspective to get to where I'm at now.
And it's also about being, willing to stay in the uncomfortable and create an uncomfortable space and be in that uncomfortable space of honesty, right? I mean, as a coach, just like you said, if everybody around you tells you that you're great, which in many cases, and especially successful people, right, they have that coming from all directions. Oh, you're so great, you're so amazing. In a sense, that was you on Instagram, right? Everybody was saying, oh my God, Jay, so great, so amazing. So there's no room for growth because there's nobody there to say, hey, this is bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I also commend you for, allowing yourself to stay in that uncomfortable space and in that more honest space of saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, these are things that I can work on, and it might feel impossible right now. It might feel really hard, really scary, but I'm just going to try it and see how it feels. And you did that, right? And really, really happy that you allowed yourself to do that
Yeah.
and to be that, to be this. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was I knew I needed it. And I wouldn't have signed on if I wasn't ready to face that and sit in that discomfort. But, like, because I know that this is what I need to be doing. Like, that's the thing, is that, like, I am very sure the more I do coaching, the more I'm with people, that, like, this is my future. And it would be silly of me not to pursue things that are going to make me better at it. Like, that was, I knew that you would make me better. And that was the biggest reason why I signed on.
I didn't make you better. I showed you that it is needed and vital and essential for you to be yourself and not to be afraid, not to need anything, not to need to be like that you are really enough. And that was the tipping point.
True.
Right. And that's why people gravitated to you more and said, yes, I want to pay. I want to work with you. I want you to guide me, mentor me. Right. Because you started to say, hey, I'm enough. And people said, yo, Jay is enough.
True.
Beautiful. Awesome. Awesome. Very, very happy with your progress. There's more to come, more exciting things, more people to inspire, more lives to touch. And yeah, it's going to be an exciting few months to come.
Yeah, I agree.
In a few years, of course. Beautiful. Thank you so much for for doing this, for jumping on the call. And yeah. And thank you for everyone for listening in and watching this video. Go ahead and check out Jay's content. Give him a like. Tell him he's great. Right? Awesome.